Well, hello there, collectors. It is Steven here once again with another Pokemon review for you. And this time we are going to be taking a look at the Kanto Eeveelution set that comes with Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. Now, this 3-figure pack set comes in at about $15. Or, what we're actually going to be taking a look at today is a deluxe 5-figure set where it comes with those 3 and a complimentary Eevee and Pikachu. Now, this bigger set is technically supposed to come at an MSRP of $19.99, but if you check out some sites like Amazon or even some brick and mortar stores, chances are they will actually drop it down in price because these are indeed on the shelves. But though they are on the shelves, does that mean that these just aren't that great, or is Tomy just keeping the stores well supplied? I know why you're here, so let's take a look to see whether or not this set is worth adding into your collection. So to start the review off, we're going to take a look at the 2 bonus figures in this deluxe set, if you will, and we are going to start with everyone's favorite, that is full of sarcasm, kids, Pikachu. So Pikachu here is in a lunging pose, almost as if he's using Quick Attack or if he's using Volt Tackle. If you do have the effect parts for that, you would have to buy those separately. And Pikachu also comes with a little support stand. This stand can also be used for Eevee, but realistically speaking, it doesn't really help in any way because Eevee just sits on the stand. Yeah, it doesn't really work. So that stand here is used to support Pikachu up to make it look like he's floating through the air. Overall, the quality on Pikachu is pretty solid. The only issues that I have with it personally would be that mine has a few scuffs on the head. They're kind of blue, and that was that way out of the packaging, so that's unfortunate for me, and some may not be a big fan of the seam that runs around where the head connects into the body. But you know what? That is really nitpicking at the price point because it's not really that big of a deal. If you're expecting something that's more of a top-of-the-line import quality, then maybe you're kind of not going to get anything because the SH Figuarts Pikachu is, well, kind of bad. Anyway, this Pikachu is rather large, and here is a size comparison actually with another Tomy-made Pikachu available in the US market. This one specifically was given away at Pokemon Day back in 2016, I think it was. Yeah, at Toys R Us. So, as you can see here, this Pikachu has a big head and a very large body. There is no articulation for this Pikachu. Next up, we have Eevee here, everybody's favorite, and I do have to say that I do like the coloration for this Eevee. For some reason, whenever I think of Eevee and any other figures of Eevee, I tend to think of brighter colors, but this one actually has a darker color scheme to it, and I really do think that that does blend in well. It really makes the figure stand out compared to what some may normally think of Eevee on a trading card or even some of the official artwork. So even though it may be a little bit of a deviation from that in my own personal views, I do think that it is a very good thing. Mine has just one minor black dot outside of the eyes, which, kind of makes it look like he's crying, but you know what? That's okay. Eevee overall looks very nice. No points of articulation. Paint slop is kept to a very, very, very minimal amount. So for something like that, I'm happy. What kind of pose is Eevee in? Well, it kind of looks like he's got a furrowed brow, so maybe it's angry, maybe it's getting ready to attack, but at the same time, I can definitely see something along the lines of in pain or sad, almost as if Eevee was spooked. So how are you going to display your Eevee? I don't know. That one will be up to you. All right, now we're going to take a look at what I believe is the best one quality control-wise of the set, Flareon. We have a very straightforward reddish-orange color scheme for the main body, and then we have the yellow for the fur, the mane, the head, and the tail. Overall, I think there really is not a single paint splotch anywhere outside of the lines where it shouldn't be, which is always a plus, and Flareon does look nice. They did capture the swoopy motion of the tail really, really well. It does remind me of a little ball of fire, even though it's yellow, of course. So overall, Flareon is a big win in my book with minimal seam lines and, like I said, Pretty much no bad paint on this little dude here. Now, Flareon does have a few points of articulation. We do have a ball jointed neck where the head plugs in. As you can see, it is clearly a ball joint. You can move it around and rock it from side to side, which is very nice. And we have swivels where all of the legs are attached in. Unfortunately, we can't move the legs too far back, but you know what? Because of the design, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Up next, sculpt-wise and even articulation-wise, I think we have the weakest figure of the bunch, Jolteon. Why do I say it's the weakest figure? I really do feel like the head sculpt is very smushed in. I don't think Jolteon looks very good on the face. I think there's something very weird going on, almost as if his head was compressed down from top to bottom. Yeah, the eyes look a little too long, too wide, looking at it from the front. Yeah, not necessarily the best. And when we take a look at the articulation in just a couple of seconds here, you're going to see why I don't think it's too great either. But anyway, Jolteon, aside from that, actually has some relatively clean paint because the only paint he's really using is the black for the ears, the eyes, and the pink colorations for the mouth, because there's that darker and lighter pink that's used. So clean paint apps, but I do think the sculpt is a little bit questionable for the face. Some are okay with it, others actually don't really like it. For articulation, Jolteon actually does have a ball jointed neck, but you're only really going to get a swivel out of it. For the front legs, unfortunately, they're going to be blocked by the spiky mane that would be there around the neck, even if you would consider that a mane there. I don't really know at that point. And then the hind legs don't really move forward at all, but they do really move back. So you could get Jolteon to sort of dash forward, but you know, whether or not it looks natural, that's up for you to decide. And last but most certainly not least, we have Vaporeon here. And even though I think Flareon is objectively the best of the three, I personally like Vaporeon more here because there's more than just one color. But unfortunately, because there's more than one color, some of the paint apps actually are just a teeny tiny bit lacking. You can see on the frills on the head that it looks a little thicker in some areas than others, especially for the white. Down by the chin, you can actually see little globs of paint. Again, for the price, this is something that may fall in the category of nitpicking for some, but if we're actually going to review it, this is something that I would like to point out for people who are going to look at that and say, no, this isn't something that I want on my figures. But other than that, I really think everything looks very nice on Vaporeon. There's nothing unreasonable here, and I think the articulation is very, very, very serviceable as well. We have the best functioning ball joint of all of the Eeveelutions here, but do keep something in mind because it has such a great range of movement. There are stress marks on the base of the ball joint on my Vaporeon's neck, so be careful. And then we do also have the swivels on all of the legs. So the articulation across all three Eeveelutions would be the same. And now that we've taken a close look at all of them, here is a size comparison of all 5 figures with just a few other Pokemon figures you might have. So as you can see, they would generally be in that smaller 2-inch or so scale that Tomy has been releasing. So if you have a display you want to squeeze these in, or if you want to give them to one of the trainers on your shelf, don't worry, these should work just fine. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Well, to be honest, I would have to say buy now and get a deal. Why is that? Well, just checking Amazon prices right now while I'm recording the audio, you can get the 3-pack of just the Eeveelutions for about $14, or you can get the 5-pack for about $18. And to be honest, that's going to be about what you're going to be paying at retail for these guys. Generally speaking, I think Tomy did a very nice job on this whole set here, whether or not you would just be getting the Eeveelutions, or if you're going to go ahead and get the pack with Eevee and Pikachu thrown in. If you're looking to round out your Pokemon display, I think this is a great way to do it, and of course, if you're going to have Red, the Figma Red, or any of the Nendoroids that might come out now or from down the line, these are going to be fantastic additions regardless of which trainers you'll pair them up with. And of course, you have to have Eeveelutions. As Tomy continues to release some of the other Eeveelutions that may come out, such as Leafeon, Glaceon, Sylveon, or whatnot, as they round out their licensing deals, these are definitely going to become hot commodities. So pick them up while you still can. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description too to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links like the credits for this video and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.